A poor woodman was cutting down a tree near the edge of a deep pool in the forest. It was late in the day and the woodman was tired. He had been working since sunrise and his strokes were not so sure as they had been early that morning. Thus it happened that the axe slipped and flew out of his hands into the pool.
The woodman was in despair. The axe was all he possessed with which to make a living, and he had not money enough to buy a new one. As he stood wringing his hands and weeping, the god Mercury suddenly appeared and asked what the trouble was.
The woodman told what had happened, and straightway the kind Mercury dived into the pool. When he came up again, he held a wonderful golden axe.
"Is this your axe?" Mercury asked the woodsman. "No," said the honest woodsman. "That is not my axe." So Mercury laid down the axe and jumped back into the pool.
This time he brought up an axe of silver, but the woodman declared that his was an ordinary axe with a wooden handle. So Mercury dove down for a third time, and this time he brought up the very axe that had been lost.
The poor woodman was very glad that his axe had been found and could not thank the kind god enough. Mercury was greatly pleased with the woodman's honesty.
"I admire your honesty," he said, "and as a reward, you may have all 3 axes, the gold, the silver, as well as your own." The happy woodman returned to his home with his treasures, and soon the story of his good fortune was known to everybody in the village.
Now, there were several woodmen in the village who believed they could easily win the same good fortune. They hurried out into the woods, one here, one there, and hiding their axes in the bushes, pretended they had lost them. Then they wept and wailed and called on Mercury to help them.
And indeed, Mercury did appear, first to this one, then to that. To each one he showed an axe of gold, and each one eagerly claimed it to be the one he had lost. But Mercury did not give them the golden axe.
Oh no. Instead, he gave them each a hard whack over the head with it and sent them home. And when they returned next day to look for their own axes, they were nowhere to be found.